Pokemon. Wally Pokemon Creepypasta. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Creepypasta. Yes, I know there is already a Wally Creepypasta, but this happened recently, so I decided to write or tell about this now. Well, I still remember it clearly. And this is Seiya, okay? Original belongs to a rightful owner. So, I was playing Pokemon Omega Ruby at the entrance of the league when I felt the urge to visit Wally. I mean, come on, he's adorable and he looks up to you in the game that I couldn't help myself. And you're his encouragement to keep on battling. So, I went back inside the Victory Road and started my way back to where Wally was at the last time I battled him. He turned around and saw me, the battle screen starting, but ended as soon as it did. As the screen showed me back in the cave, my character, or May, had a confused face. I knew what was going on, for I have read the Wally Creepypasta, and I didn't like this one bit. The Lavender Town song started coming from the speakers on my 2DS. May was startled at the music because she jumped in fright when the music started playing. It wasn't the original song from Japan, but one of those Lavender Town music from YouTube. Being a creepypasta lover and a Pokemon freak, as they call me in school, you'd think I would be happy to hear it. I liked the song actually, but I knew what was going to happen. I expected a call from Wally as I neared the entrance to go back to the league, and it happened. Wally, come to Petalburg. I got out of the cave, opened the game menu, selected Pokemon, and had Tails, my Swallow, use Fly. The Lavender Town song got slower and sadder. I didn't want to go to any houses, knowing no NPCs or whatever they are weren't going to be there, let alone wanting to go to Wally's house. But since I didn't move, May moved on her own, facing the screen, as her voice from the anime came from the speakers. What's going on? Why do I feel scared? She asked, as I answered her. Wally's dead, and it's our fault. She seemed to have heard me or something, because she looked incredibly scared. I pressed the circle pad ever so slightly, making her walk very slowly. When a Pokemon is in the grass, the reason for that was that I was being cautious. I speak to the NPC people, getting the exact same text as the original creepypasta. I was forced inside the house. I talked to all the people in there and then Wally's mother. Same responses as the creepypasta. I walked up to his coffin, which was located in the middle of the room. Wally. Why? I burst into tears at this point. Seeing the text, Pokemon trainer Wally went to one final battle. It said. His corpse-like body crawled onto the screen. The Lavender Town music, now a full sad song, making this even more heartbreaking for me. I'm just a 12-year-old girl. I can only take so much heartbreak. Well, his first Pokemon was Glade. Even he seemed sad. Blaze, my Blaziken, was in the lead of the party. I didn't want him to feel bad or die telling me, why couldn't you just let me win? So, I had Blaze use Tackle throughout the battle, to the point where Wally showed on the screen. I know what you're doing. Don't go easy, give it your all, he said, making me cry harder. I tried to use Tackle again, but Wally wouldn't let me, saying the same thing every time I selected Tackle. So I used Flame Charge. Thankfully, Glade was done in 4 hits. I was relieved, at least I'm not one-hit KOing every single Pokemon Wally had. The battle was actually pretty good, despite the sad Lavender Town music and with the fact that I would no longer see Wally after the battle. Once the battle ended, it showed an animation of Wally hugging May, saying, Thank you, Seiya. I was surprised. I didn't choose that name for May, unless he was talking to me. Once I was back in the overworld, Wally crawled back into his coffin, a smile on his tear-streaked yet still adorable child face. The screen went black, white words typed on the screen. 3 days later. The credits rolled on the touchscreen on the 2DS, and Wally's funeral on the top screen. They made Wally's grave on the spot where he caught routes. May was on her knees, face covered by her hands, crying, Wally's mother standing next to her on the right, and Brandon on her left. They all looked at his grave once more, before they all started to leave. Suddenly, Wally's little hand came out of his grave. Everyone looked at him. He pulled himself out and was covered in blood, and some skin was rotting. His mother, May, and Brandon, who were the closest to Wally's grave, stepped away. Why are you leaving? It's just me, he said as he stabbed his mother in the chest with his hand. He did the same to everyone else, then came to me. He was about to stab May when Brandon grabbed her hand and pulled her away, causing him to get stabbed. "Run," he said as he dropped to the ground dead. I did as I was told. I ran to Oldale Town and was about to leave to the route where I first fought Brandon when Wally said, "Why are you leaving?" I didn't stick around. I ran to the route, had Zally, my landlord, use surf. I was going to cross the water to get to the route where the House of Tricks was, but it was blocked. I knew Wally didn't have a Pokemon that could use surf, but since he was dead, he could apparently walk on water. I surfed in a circle, trying not to get caught by Wally, but he eventually got me and said, "We'll be friends forever," and stabbed May. Her screams and cries blaring through the speakers. I wanted to close the game so badly and let it sit there until the battery ran out, but it was a 2DS, so it doesn't close. A screen of black came on, and then Wally's face appeared on the screen. No eyes or pupils, blood coming out of his mouth, his tears now black. The game turned off, and so did the 2DS. I was frozen in place, and then screamed. My little brother ran into the room and asked, "Are you okay? I heard you scream." I didn't want to tell him. I had already traumatized him with the nightmares I had about him dying and haunting me. That was the last thing I needed. I know that if I would tell anyone of my friends, they would say that I'm crazy and dreamt it. My parents would have said that I made the story up, but I didn't. I had already showed them the original Creepypasta, so they would obviously think I made it up. So instead, I'm writing about it, now forever being haunted by the most adorable and happiest person in Pokemon.